In this video, we're going to learn how to enter more than one command at a time at the command line by using daisy chains. And we're also going to learn how to use delays between commands on the command line. This is the 5th video in a set of 10 for people beginning their journey with the JackBord Basic. For a full list of videos in this series, search the TMT code shown in the middle of the screen at jb.works. For this video, you're going to need the JackBord Basic, a USB-C cable, a PC or a Chromebook, and either the Google Chrome web browser or the Microsoft Edge web browser. Before we launch into learning how daisy chains work, here's an example of why they're actually a good idea in the first place. This is a fairly simple example. I've got this JackBord Basic sitting here, and all I want to do is have all of the user LEDs flash on and off a number of times. So to do this the way that we do it now, I have to go L on, then L off, then L on again, then L off, on, off, and so on. So technically, yes, the LEDs are flashing on and off, but as you can see, I'm having to manually enter one command after another and press enter on the command line. And so this is where daisy chains can come to the rescue. As you saw before, it can be quite tedious having to type in individual commands one after the other and press enter. And this is where daisy chains come in, because just like their real-life namesake, they're a way of stringing together a number of things in a row, one after the other. So daisy chains basically let you have more than one command on the command line at the same time. And to achieve this, we separate each command by the pipe character. And so if we look at a version of what we were doing earlier on, we have a command followed by a pipe, command followed by a pipe. And we can enter this whole line on the command line in one go. So now let's look at how we would solve this problem using daisy chains. Now, as we know from what we just heard before, daisy chains essentially let you have more than one command on the command line at the same time, and you separate those commands with a pipe character. So in our example, I would go L on, pipe, then L off, pipe, and L on, pipe, off, pipe, then L on, pipe, and then finally L off. Now if I press this enter, you see what happens? So all of those commands get run in one go from the command line. So I haven't had to sit there and put them in one after the other. I just load them all up and then they all run one after the other. And you'll see that the pipe character is this vertical one that is between each of the commands that I'm running. On most keyboards, the pipe key is on the key that's immediately above the enter key. It's shown here to the right with a red box around it. To use the pipe key, hold down the shift key, and while doing that, press the pipe key. The pipe character itself is basically a vertical line, as shown in the bottom of the picture. If you press the pipe key on your keyboard correctly, and you don't see the pipe character, this probably means that your keyboard is not set up correctly. It needs to be set to be a US keyboard, so check your settings. So the previous example worked really well, but the LEDs turned on and off really quite quickly and much faster than we would like. So this is a point whereby we want to be able to introduce a delay between each of the commands in the daisy chain. And to do this, we use the delay or DLY command. So you can see the format is DLY space D, where D is a delay in milliseconds from 0 to 60,000. So some examples for we have DLY space 500 gives a delay of half a second, whereas DLY space 5000 gives a delay of 5 seconds. And remember that 1 second contains 1000 milliseconds. Okay, so here's a simple example of how we can use the delay command in a daisy chain. So in this case, I basically want to be able to turn user LED number 4 on for 1 second and then turn it off. So I go L4 space 1. I'm adding an extra space for the pipe character, but you don't actually need any extra spaces. And then we put in the delay command. So DLY, we want to wait for 1 second, so that's 1000 milliseconds. Another pipe character. And then we go L4 space 0, which will turn the user LED number 4 off. So if I run this, the LED turns on for 1 second and then turns off. So essentially, this part of the command here is the delay that is causing the LED to turn on and remain on for 1 second. And then once that delay is gone, it's turned off by the L4 space 0 command. So now what we're going to do is we're going to update our original command, which is this one here, by adding 0.5 second delays between each of the commands. And so that's what we've done down here. So this is one delay, L off, then another delay, another command, then a delay, command, and then a delay. So we've basically taken the original command and made it so that the user LED lights will go on and off more slowly and with gaps of half a second between each change. So now we're going to try out our updated command. And you can see on the screen I've added spaces before and after each one of the pipe characters. We don't need those, but they just make it a little bit clearer. So first we're going to go L on space, then a pipe, then we're going to go the delay, so DLY 500 space, then L off space, then another delay 500, and then L on again, then another delay, and then L off, and we'll do another one just for the hell of it. I'll put another delay in there, so DLY 500, we go L on, then another delay, and then finally L off. So you can see here, this is our full daisy chain command. We've got delays between each of the commands, and now we'll run it and see what happens. So watch the JackBord basic user LEDs in the bottom right hand corner. And there you go. So if I run it again, you can see the user LEDs turning on and turning off with about a half second gap. So we're back on the command page, so let's try this out. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to pulse user LED number 1 on for half a second or 500 milliseconds. And there it goes. And then we're going to add another 0 and it should go on for 5 seconds. And there we go. And next we're going to turn user LED number 3 on for 1 second. So this is how you can use the pulse command to turn a user LED on for a set period of milliseconds and then have it turn off. So just to summarize where we are so far, originally we were turning the user LEDs on and off alternately by just manually entering the commands on the command line. And then we started using daisy chain. So if I go back through the history, there we go. So this is our daisy chain command. So basically we put the vertical pipe character between each of the commands, and that meant that we only had to type in this one line and run it once to get that result. So they all flash on and off quite quickly. And that is by using the daisy chain, and specifically the pipe character between each of the commands, so that we can have all those commands on the command line at the same time. And then we decided we wanted a delay between each one of them, and that's where we got to this one. So we still have the same L on and L off commands, but between each one we've added a delay. So you can see straight away that our new command is actually a lot longer than the original one. So that's the original one, and then this is the new one, and that's something we're going to look at next. The command line can accept a maximum of 120 letters or 120 characters, and letters and characters are the same thing, in a single command. So that means that you can't type any more than 120 letters or spaces in the command line at any one time. So the character limit on the command line is 120 characters. You can't have any more than that. So to show that, I'm going to basically add another pipe to the end of this command, then I'm going to just copy it, I'm going to paste it. So you notice that first of all the command line's gone red, which is telling us that we've exceeded the maximum allowed number of commands. And secondly, there's also a little round circle on the right hand side that comes up and shows us minus 58. And this is the number of characters over the limit that we've gone. So if I start deleting characters off my command, you can see that value is falling. So we need to get it so that it is 0 or 1 and not negative. So now if I run the command, it runs fine. So essentially, the maximum length of any command on the command line is 120 characters. In the next video, we're going to use the pulse command to send an SOS Morse code message using the user LEDs. To get to the next video quickly, simply visit jb.works and search the TMT code shown on the screen. For more information, visit jb.works.